What's up, everybody? How's it going? We are back for another show of movie reviews. We just got back from seeing Toy Story 4. This is obviously the fourth movie in the franchise. We got, it's been like 9 years since Toy Story 3. So it's been a long time coming, but we finally have our sequel that we've all heard about for a while. And how was it, Did it live up to its expectations as a Disney Pixar movie and with our beloved characters from all the Toy Story characters? Let's see how it did, all right, shall we? Okay, so Toy Story 4 basically takes place literally right after Toy Story 3. We have all the toys of Andy now transferred over from the end to a little girl named Bonnie who takes these toys as her own. And it basically is Bonnie is starting kindergarten, and I gotta say the thing I liked about the film was the opening, because it actually explains what happened to Bo, because she's not anywhere to be seen in Toy Story 3 with any explanation at all. So to just kind of give us understanding, the very beginning of the movie, it's basically showing us like 9 years before Toy Story 3, and it shows what happens to Bo and why she's hasn't been in Toy Story 3 and all that. So I like the opening. I found that I love how they had the original theme song, You Got a Friend in Me. They inputted this into the kind of like their opening crawl after Bonnie's prelude. So it just gave all those warm, fuzzy feelings of nostalgic and from the original Toy Story, which I adore and love to death. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, out of the four. It's tough because Toy Story 3 is really, up there too, especially with that end scene. I don't think I ever got as emotional with a cartoon or computer-generated movie that I can think of off the top of my head. But anyway, so yeah, I love how they put You Got a Friend in Me. They kind of gave a little throwback to Andy when he was young, playing with, Woody and Buzz and all the other toys. And then they, set it right here with Bonnie playing with her toys in her room and stuff like this. This story focuses on Woody. He's kind of like the toy that's not getting played with as much anymore. He's feeling left out. He's in that closet with all the other kind of, I don't want to say reject toys, but just toys that are collecting dust bunnies. And so Woody's kind of at a place where this isn't something familiar to him. He's not feeling, wanted. He's not feeling, his role, which was, toy leader, and he would orchestrate all the toys of what to do in the room. Now it's taken over by Bonnie's toys. So this movie is strictly, definitely a Woody movie, and I love Woody. I would say, Woody and Buzz obviously are very close neck and neck as far as, my favorite characters of the movie. So I like that they really focus on Woody and kind of just gave him kind of a nice send-off in the film. So the story takes place where Bonnie is starting kindergarten, like I said, and it's kind of like an orientation day for Bonnie, and Woody sneaks in her backpack and basically wants to be there for her on her first day of kindergarten, and they're just doing like an arts and craft thing just to kind of get comfortable and familiar with each other as classmates and teacher and stuff like that. And Bonnie creates this new character, this new toy, who's Forky. And when you see Forky in the previews, I was a little concerned about him. I thought, oh man, is he going to be annoying and just not a good character? And actually that was what really pleasantly surprised me about this movie. I really liked Forky. I thought he was adorable. There's parts in the movie where, because he's made out of trash. Like Woody basically took stuff out of the trash in the kindergarten class and snuck it on Bonnie's desk for her to build something to help her out. And from what he got out of the trash, boom, Bonnie creates Forky, the Spork, I don't know. So he was really cool. I liked him a lot. I thought he was really funny. He's drawn to the trash, so he has to constantly be going in the trash while Woody is trying to tell him no, you're you're a toy now, you're not trash, and you're Bonnie's favorite toy, and you need to be there for Bonnie because you're everything to Bonnie right now in this part of her life. So I loved their relationship where he's just constantly doing these montages of him um, jumping in the trash, and you see Woody throwing him out of the trash to go on the bed, like, if they're, sleeping and stuff like that, and him trying to run away and go in trash cans. So I like that part. That was really cool. So yeah, this movie was very simple though. It was very simple concept. I think one of the most simple concepts out of all the movies, because it's basically Bonnie's family goes on a road trip and she brings the toys with her, and then they stop at this like kind of tour guided carnival event in this small little town, and then basically on the way to the trip, Forky is still not understanding who he is, so he jumps out of the car like you see in the trailer, and Woody goes after him because Woody's always doing the noble thing, always looking out for his toy owner. And so they get separated, and it's basically a tale of Woody and Forky trying to make it back to Bonnie and the other toys on the road trip in their RV. And this was really cool because, we get Bo. Bo's back. Bo is, Woody discovers her lamp and in this old antique shop. So he goes to investigate, and then while he is trying to find Bo, he realizes she wasn't in the shop, and they get kind of turned around by these other kind of creepy old antique toys, the whole like old dolls and the ones that move the mouth and stuff like that. So in the process of them trying to escape, Woody loses Forky, so then it's Woody having to go back to, find Forky so he can, finally go back to bring them to Bonnie so they can just relax and go on their way. So it's just very simple, and then he ends up in a playground, and it turns out in the playground in this carnival, boom, there's Bo. This is where she's been for the last 7 years, and she's really just changed. Like, she's this totally different character than you've seen her in the previous first two movies. She's very independent. She's a fighter. She just knows how to handle herself, take care of herself, and she just is, this lost toy that's just, made a new life for herself. And it's just the struggle of basically Woody trying to rescue Forky with the help of Bo and her friends that she's made. Really good, funny additional toys and characters in this movie was Combat Carl, who's played by Apollo from the Rocky movies. His role is very short. It's like just a few lines, but I just really liked seeing, the action figures and just him being a part of that movie. There's a lot of throwbacks and additional characters and stars in this movie. Mel Brooks had a really short part. He played this elf in the beginning, one of Bonnie's toys that was left in the closet that wasn't getting played much with. There's tons more that I probably can't even, mention, but the other one that really stood out that I was really like, wow, they did a good job was Keanu Reeves. He plays this character called, I think, like Duke or Dustin or something starts with a D. Combat. He's this Canadian motorcycle jumper toy, like Evel Knievel but for Canada. So he was really good. I think this was Keanu Reeves' first Disney movie ever, which is like crazy and hard to believe, but I thought his way of adding on to this movie with characters really helped out, and he was a really fun, cool character. So there was a nice, cast and stuff like that. As always, Woody and Buzz, the talented Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, always on par. That's the strongest part about these movies is that, bond connection, which made this movie, one of the disappointing things was we didn't get much Buzz. We got hardly any Buzz. And Buzz actually, he didn't feel like Buzz Lightyear. He wasn't like the same guy in the first three movies. He seemed out of place. He didn't have hardly any screen time, any lines. And he wasn't the same, Lightyear. I don't know what it was, but it's just like his A game wasn't in this movie. I mean, like I said, this movie was strictly a Woody movie. Like, it was really focused on Woody and made you really feel for them. So I like the fact that on an emotional level, you really have heart and care for these toys, especially Woody. But I just feel like Buzz was on the sidelines more, and I would have liked to see him more in the movie. I know they had to take it away and most of the toys away and really focus just on this Forky and Buzz character. And even Bo. Bo had more screen time, I feel like, than Buzz Lightyear. So that part was a little disappointing because I'm there to see those two guys because that is Toy Story to me with the group surrounding them on the ensemble cast. So that was definitely the con of this movie that I was a little shocked of. The villain was also really weak. This villain is played by, like I want to mention, those old dolls in the antique shop. She's also like Woody where she had a string and voice box, but her voice box was like damaged, so she like didn't really sound good. So she was kind of weak. Like she seemed interesting at first, but you knew where she was going. She, was trying to steal Woody's voice box, so that was kind of, okay, where are we gonna go with that? She gets his voice box because Woody is just like, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you. Woody was very giving and sacrificing, and much like a server in this movie. He was like really cool. So she gets it, and she's getting this voice box because there's a granddaughter of the store owner of this antique shop that this doll lives in. I apologize, I don't remember the villain's name. And they finally connect. She's fixed. The girl pulls her strings. She sounds great. And the mom's like, hey, you want to take it home with you? And she's like, no, and throws her basically in the trash. And from that moment on, I thought, oh crap, she's gonna go intense, like she's gonna go AWOL. But she just was like, you know what? I don't care. I give up. Woody, you can have your voice box. Like, take it back from me. I was like, wow. Like, the villain did not have much of an arc, and then she just became good. And I mean, that's fine. Like, I like villains and bad people to become better people and become good and go to the light, you know what I'm saying? But she just didn't have much of a climax. She didn't have much of a say in the movie. And then, she has a happy ending because she finds this lost kid in the carnival while they're going after Bonnie to go, take Forky and Woody back. And she finds this girl crying, and the girl finds her, and she ends up having a new owner, so she got a happy ending, and she still was a good guy, so it all worked out for her, so I have nothing to complain about that. The thing that really shocked me with this movie, I did see it coming, but I was like, no, they can't do that because, it's weird to have it end that way. But Woody is basically going to be heading back to the RV with all the other toys, and Bo's wanting to stay because she has adopted this new lifestyle of being a lost toy and just traveling around the country in this carnival thing. And Woody makes a decision, and it's a little shocking. He actually decides to stay with Bo and not go with his friends and all the other toys to Bonnie. So we have this kind of nice, a little short emotional like goodbye with all the original toys with Woody, and then a really cool, hug with Buzz and Woody. I just feel like though this whole movie, it was very fast paced, even though I think out of all four it was technically the longest, but for some reason the other movies felt longer. They felt more in depth. They had levels. I felt like the stories were a little richer than this one. This one was just very basic, very like concrete. Nothing really, twisty and blew my mind. And it just shocked me that it took this long for this movie to be made. I mean, this movie could have been made much sooner. I guess they had issues making it or something. I don't know. But I was expecting more. I left the movie, I was like, I wanted more. I wanted it to be more than it was, even though I still liked it and enjoyed it, and I'm glad I saw it, and I do recommend you guys seeing it, especially for Toy Story fans. But I just felt a little unsatisfied. I feel like the end of Toy Story 3, even though it was super sad and emotional, I left on a good note. I was like, wow, if they had to end it, that's a perfect movie to end that franchise. This one, it ends, and it's like, well, wait a second, I don't feel, like it's finished. Like, I don't feel closure on this. Like, I could see them now making more Toy Story movies with Woody and Bo on their side adventures, or with Bonnie and all the other toys. So it's like you got Woody on one side, and then you got all the other Toy Story toys on the other, and it's like, what are they gonna do now? Like, there's no real ending. They're not ending together as a family. So I'm really curious to see if they're gonna make more Toy Story movies. At this point, if this movie does well, they're probably gonna do it, because this movie was actually made because of the success and shout out to the fans and crowds of Toy Story 3 ending. They were like, okay, let's make another one because, you know, people want more. So I'm curious to see what the future holds for this franchise in these movies. So we'll see what happens. But Toy Story 4, yeah, based on its lack of Buzz Lightyear time, the story just wasn't as enriched and leveled and just plotted well as much as I want it to be, and it just felt very rushed and quick and simple. I'm still gonna give this a good score. I'm gonna give Toy Story 4, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 just because it did hit a lot of emotional levels. The movie looks great, it looks beautiful. It's like every Toy Story movie just gets better and better and more realistic looking, as well it should be with technology and all that. It's just little minor things I was just a little unpleasant and just not, you know, too thrilled about. And I just felt a little like, you know, shorthanded coming out of the theater. I didn't feel like as happy and great as I wanted to. But maybe that's because my expectations were just way too high for this movie. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being really hard and rough on it, and if I watch it again, it'll be better. Maybe it might be one of those movies I have to watch a second time and appreciate more. But I think I was just so excited to see this movie. But that's just my first impressions of it, and you know, some spoiler talks obviously there, and just an explanation of, you know, the film itself and just what I thought and everything. So yeah, guys, definitely go see Toy Story 4. I'm not saying it's a bad movie whatsoever. Heck no, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's Disney magic. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and please leave some comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this movie, and you know, what's your favorite Toy Story movie out of all 4 of them? And do you think they're gonna make more? Like, let me know, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next show. Have a wonderful day. Much love. Take care. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.
I don't remember it being this hard.
Woody, somebody's whispering in your ear.